Whitney Elizabeth Houston, August 9, 1963, February 11, 2012, was an American singer and actress. She was certified as the most awarded female artist of all time by Guinness World Records and is one of the best-selling recording artists of all time, with sales of over 200 million records worldwide. Houston released 7 studio albums and 2 soundtrack albums, all of which have been certified diamond, multi-platinum, platinum, or gold by the Recording Industry Association of America, RIAA. She is regarded as one of the greatest artists of all time. Her crossover appeal on the popular music charts as well as her prominence on MTV influenced several African American female artists. Houston began singing in church as a child and became a background vocalist while in high school. With the guidance of Arista Records chairman Clive Davis, she signed to the label at age 19. Her first 2 studio albums, Whitney Houston, 1985, and Whitney, 1987, both peaked at number 1 on the Billboard 200 and are among the best-selling albums of all time. She is the only artist to have 7 consecutive number 1 singles on the US Billboard Hot 100 chart, from Saving All My Love for You in 1985 to Where Do Broken Hearts Go in 1988. Houston's third studio album, I'm Your Baby Tonight, 1990, yielded 2 Billboard Hot 100 number 1 singles, I'm Your Baby Tonight, and All the Man That I Need, and was certified quintuple platinum by RIAA. Houston made her acting debut with the romantic thriller film The Bodyguard, 1992. She recorded 6 songs for the film's soundtrack, including I Will Always Love You, which won the Grammy Award for Record of the Year and became the best-selling physical single by a female in music history. It won the Grammy Award for Album of the Year and remains the best-selling soundtrack album of all time. Houston starred and recorded soundtracks for 2 other high-profile films, Waiting to Exhale, 1995, and The Preacher's Wife, 1996, with the latter's soundtrack being the best-selling gospel album of all time. Following the critical and commercial success of My Love Is Your Love, 1998, Houston renewed her contract with Arista for $100 million. However, her personal struggles began overshadowing her career, and the album Just Whitney, 2002, received mixed reviews. Her drug use and a tumultuous marriage to singer Bobby Brown received widespread media coverage. After a 6-year break from recording, Houston returned to the top of the Billboard 200 chart with her final studio album, I Look to You, 2009. On February 11, 2012, Houston was found dead at the Beverly Hilton in Beverly Hills, California. The coroner's report showed that she had accidentally drowned in the bathtub, with heart disease and cocaine use as contributing factors. News of her death coincided with the 2012 Grammy Awards and was featured prominently in international media. Houston was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2020. Whitney Elizabeth Houston was born on August 9, 1963, in what was then a middle-income neighborhood in Newark, New Jersey. 1. She was the daughter of ex-Army serviceman and Newark City Administrator John Russell Houston Jr. and gospel singer Emily Sissy Drinkard Houston. 2-3, her elder brother Michael is a singer, and her elder half-brother is former basketball player Gary Garland. 4-5, her parents were both African American. Through her mother, Houston was a first cousin of singers Dionne Warwick and Dee Dee Warwick. Her godmother was Darlene Lovesix, and her honorary aunt was Aretha Franklin, 7-8, whom she met at age 8 or 9 when her mother took her to a recording studio. 7. Houston was raised a Baptist, but was also exposed to the Pentecostal church. After the 1967 Newark riots, the family moved to a middle-class area in East Orange, New Jersey, when she was 4. 9. Her parents later divorced. 10. At age 11, Houston started performing as a soloist in the junior gospel choir at the New Hope Baptist Church in Newark, where she also learned to play the piano. 11. Her first solo performance in the church was Guide Me, O Thou Great Jehovah. 12. While Houston was still in school, her mother, Sissy, continued to teach her how to sing. 13. Sissy was a member of the group The Sweet Inspirations, which also opened for and sang backup for Elvis Presley. 14. Houston spent some of her teens touring nightclubs where Sissy was performing, and she would occasionally get on stage and perform with her. Houston was also exposed to the music of Chaka Khan, Gladys Knight, and Roberta Flack, most of whom would have an influence on her as a singer and performer. 15. In 1977, at age 14, she became a backup singer on the Michael Zager Band's single Life's a Party. 16. In 1978, at 15, Houston sang background vocals for Chaka Khan and Lou Rawls. 17. Houston attended Mount St. Dominic Academy, a Catholic girls' high school in Caldwell, New Jersey. She graduated in 1981. 18. During her teens, Houston met Robin Crawford, who she described as the sister she never had. 1920, Crawford went on to become Houston's best friend, roommate, and executive assistant. 2022, after Houston rose to stardom, she and Crawford were rumored to be lovers, which they both denied in 1987. 20. In 2019, several years after Houston's death, Crawford stated that their early relationship had included sexual activity, but that Houston ended this for fear of others' reactions. 23. In the early 1980s, Houston started working as a fashion model after a photographer saw her at Carnegie Hall singing with her mother. She became the first woman of color to appear on the cover of 1724, and appeared in Glamour, Cosmopolitan, and Young Miss, and appeared in a Canada Dry soft drink TV commercial. 17. Her looks and girl next door charm made her one of the most sought-after teen models. 17. In 1982, under the suggestion of longtime friend Valerie Simpson, Houston signed with Terra Productions and hired Daniel Gittleman, Seymour Flicks, and Gene Harvey as her managers. With them, Houston continued her burgeoning recording career by working with producers Michael Beinhorn, Bill Laswell and Martin Beese on an album they were spearheading called One Down, which was credited to the group Material. For that project, she contributed the ballad Memories, a cover of a song by Hugh Hopper of Soft Machine. Robert Christgau of The Village Voice called her contribution one of the most gorgeous ballads you've ever heard. 25. She also appeared as a lead vocalist on one track on a Paul Jabara album, entitled Paul Jabara and Friends, released by Columbia Records in 1983. 26. In 1983, Jerry Griffith, an A&R representative from Arista Records, saw Houston performing with her mother in a New York nightclub. He convinced Arista's head Clive Davis to make time to see her perform. Davis was impressed and immediately offered a worldwide recording contract, which Houston eventually signed after being alternatively sought after by another label. 2. Houston had been offered deals by recording agencies before, by Michael Zager in 1980, and by Elektra Records in 1981, but her mother declined them on the grounds that Whitney had yet to complete high school. 1627, later that year, Houston made her national television debut alongside Davis on The Merv Griffin Show. 28. She performed Home, a song from the musical The Wiz. 29. Houston did not begin work on an album immediately. 30. The label wanted to make sure no other label signed her away, and Davis wanted to ensure he had the right material and producers for her debut album. Some producers passed on the project because of prior commitments. 31. Houston first recorded a duet with Teddy Pendergrass, Hold Me, which appeared on his gold album, Love Language. 32. The single was released in 1984 and gave Houston her first taste of success, becoming a top 5 R&B hit. 33. It would also appear on her debut album in 1985. With production from Michael Masser, Kashif, Jermaine Jackson, and Narada Michael Walden, Houston's debut album Whitney Houston was released in February 1985. 34. Rolling Stone magazine praised Houston, calling her one of the most exciting new voices in years, while the New York Times called the album an impressive, musically conservative showcase for an exceptional vocal talent. 35-36. Arista Records promoted Houston's album with 3 different singles from the album in the United States, the United Kingdom and other European countries. In the UK, the dance-funk Someone For Me, which failed to chart, was the first single, while All At Once was in such European countries as the Netherlands and Belgium, where the song reached the top 5 on the singles charts, respectively. 37.